It was interesting doing this album because it's the second album I've done with Kevin Shirley, and the last one we did, Wild, we also recorded at RCA, and I wanted to return there again to kind of felt like the right spot to do it with Kevin. And the first time we did Wild in 2015, it was a similar, level of musicianship, Michael Rhodes, and I was absolutely terrified and completely out of my depth is how I felt. And I just felt like I had no business being there. And then eventually by the end of the session, Michael Rhodes, I can't read charts and they're, you know, coming up with stuff really quickly. And Michael kind of sat me down and went, but we can't be here without you. You're bringing the songs and kind of essentially the product. And without people like you, we don't have a job. Um, and it kind of sat with me, and it was just an interesting experience to walk in on this time. And I realized, I know everyone in the studio. I've known Anton for 10 plus years through Joe. I went to see him play on Letterman once about 14 years ago. Jimmy, I've worked with live. Kevin's been a dear friend for many years now. And it was so nice to walk in and realize that you've reached that level of maturity, really, where you're confident in yourself, but not to the point of having an ego, I don't think, but you feel capable and your songs are going to get the treatment you want them to get because these amazing people and talents are lending you, their time. So it was just a really, really nice, positive experience. And yeah, I mean, to answer your question, they're great musicians, and they certainly added a
What
lot
is,
to the album.
what is it? I've never met Kevin Shirley, never talked to Kevin Shirley, but what is the ingredient that he has that makes every band a musician? The moment that they say, right, we're going to do a new album, right, phone Kevin, will you see if he's
Yeah.
available? It literally, the guy has an appetite for work which is unlike anybody else. I just wonder whether or not he ever
Yeah.
has a day off, or does he have a life?
Yeah. I mean, he does. I mean, because he lives in Sydney now as well. So he does seem to spend an amazing amount of time doing long haul flights to America every other week. I mean, for me with Kevin, one, again, going back to that friendship thing and that level of trust where, I mean, we're really good mates. He's one of my best friends. So, that's a really lovely support system to have in a producer, someone that you're making this album with. For me, it's just Kevin's ear. I'll take him songs and, the ideas he had for what the musicians could be trying to do. And, but also, there's always, every take we do, it's Joanne, are you happy with this? You have to be happy with this. This is your song, and there's that level of support again. So yeah, he's a really fabulous guy to work with, and just has ideas that, you wouldn't think of. I mean, even if it's just covers he suggested for this album, or
Yeah,
subtle
yeah.
changes to the original songs. It's just a exceptionally creative guy.
What can we expect in terms of the style of the album overall? I mean, the last album, Nobody's Fool, was very different. And I don't think anybody was expecting that retro pop with this very modern flair there. And Nobody's Fool is where you said listening to a lot of Joni Mitchell and Fleetwood Mac. So what have you been listening to for inspiration for this album?
I kind of went back to the blues. I mean, the reason I wanted to do Nobody's Fool and that kind of departure was because I'd done the blues album. I'd done a cover of blues, and then I'd done the blues album live. So essentially, I'd done the two most traditional blues albums I'll ever do in the space of a year. So I kind of thought I can get away with anything now. I could put out anything, and it doesn't have to be too bluesy because I've just done, two blues albums. So that was really good fun. But I think with this one, after making that departure, I kind of went back to the kind of stuff I was always listening to. So a lot of classic rock, a lot of Fleetwood Mac, a lot of Free and Bad Company. And, I kind of didn't really, I had some stuff left over from Nobody's Fool
Yeah, yeah.
that I wanted to work on. So I kind of approached this one as, how do I go from Nobody's Fool back into a slightly more blues arena? So I kind of wanted this album to be a bit of Nobody's Fool, but moving back towards like the previous album, Reckless Heart. So it's kind of a mix of both, I think. A bit of pop, well, again, bit of pop, bit of blues, bit of rock.